Welcome to the Social Worker Rants podcast, providing a platform for social workers to share their stories. The podcast covers a wide range of topics, including mental health, social justice, policy, and the day-to-day realities of the profession. Season 10 will continue to focus on the intersectionality of mental health and finances. Hope you enjoy. Hello, social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to another episode of the Social Work Branch Podcast. I'm your host, Bash Moreno. Saludos a todos. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It's happening wherever you are watching or listening to this podcast. It is May and is Mental Health Awareness Month. So shout out to all the social workers, mental health professionals doing amazing work in the field, helping out, your clients, helping out, just in the community, and it's a lot happening. And every day is something new the administration is doing. Even we're not always talking about federal, and even though Orange Man is always doing something different, but depending where you live at, you probably have trash politicians doing trash things that's affecting your community and your clients as well. So it's okay not to be okay, but definitely get the help that you need. Do my quick disclaimer: this podcast is not to be used as a substitute for mental health therapy or counseling. If you need help, get the help that you need. Is 988. Call 911. If you have a therapist, go talk to your therapist. If you have a psychiatrist, go talk to your psychiatrist. Go to your nearest emergency room. If need be, for all my out of the country listeners and viewers, whatever your emergency line is, use that and get the help that you need. My guest at this time is no stranger to the podcast. She's been like over 3 years already, but here we are.
Oh, don't remind me. Time is flying.
But you keep, and you're still doing the good work. Javania Smith from the Reform
Yeah.
Consultation. How you doing?
Hey, hello. I can't believe it has been that long. That's like super wild. But yes, time is flying. Thank you for having me. Always grateful and available to hold space and have conversation with not only just fellow social workers, but anybody. If you know me, you know I'm always chatting, or like the young people say, it's yapping. We're in a yapper era. You know that, Vass? You know that's what it's called?
Well, I got teenagers, so yeah, I mean they don't really use that word, but I think I use it more than they do.
Yeah, so it's like a whole thing. It's like yapping, people who just talk to talk, not like a podcast where it's like more intentional and curated, but it's just like people who talk. And I was like, okay, we in our yapper era.
I guess I'm for that. So for those who don't know who you are or what your organization represents, tell a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so definitely. So my name is Javania Smith. Coming to you by way of Brooklyn. I am a social worker. I graduated from the illustrious Silverman School of Social Work. Every time I'm like saying that, I'm like, did I really think that? But I guess I'm gonna go with it. Um, but yeah, so my organization is called Reform Consulting. We started in 2018. May is actually our anniversary month. So I'm super excited to be 7 years around the sun at this point doing the work. So we are a personal, professional, and community development business guided by the 8 dimensions of wellness. And our, I guess, mission and vision has always been the same, but how we have articulated it has changed over the years. So this new iteration of it, specifically adding the 8 dimensions of wellness at the end, because it's always been our framework in how we do the work and how we approach the work. But we wanted to make sure that it's amplified, so that we just added the 8 dimensions of wellness to the end of how we talk about our work. And for folks who are not familiar with the 8 dimensions of wellness, and some people do 12, some people do 16, just depending on, what resonates mostly with you. But how we do our work is through the lens of intellectual wellness, social wellness, environmental wellness, occupational wellness, financial wellness, emotional wellness, physical wellness. I think that's all of them, and spiritual wellness. So all the spaces that we are in and contribute to, and also we want to be aligned with, will fall under one of those dimensions of wellness.
That's what's up. Congratulations on your anniversary this month.
Thank you. Can't believe it. It's like here we are again.
So, since you started this, you know, working in Brooklyn and being part of New York City, and when you guys first started, and the change of administrations, not only just the mayor changed from Diblasio
Right.
to clubbing Eric.
Listen, not too much on Eric Adams, man. Nothing wrong with a little 1-2, a little game, a little party.
But and then obviously the change of administrations on the federal level, how do you maintain like the sustainability of all the things that you guys doing with your business?
Well, I mean, I think that how you name it, and the spaces that you're just intentional about being in. I know that there are some spaces that no matter what, wellness is going to be elevated, it's going to be necessary. So like healthcare, right? Healthcare is something that, people are always going to need. So we're just trying to be in a space that wellness something that is always going to be a need. So I think now being able maybe to change the language and how we describe it, not being super explicit about diversity, equity, inclusion, and all these things that honestly just won't get funded, because there's a lot of fears around the sustainability of people's organizations, right? And that's real. Like that's just real. So a lot of organizations are saying, well, can we use this language to bring you all in, or can we talk about it in this way? Which, I mean, the work is still the work. If we have to talk about it a little differently, that's fine. As long as like the mission and vision and the goals are still there. So our work has looked different over the years, and I think that has been definitely in response to the spaces that we've been involved in. We are a DOE vendor. So our work in schools 7 years ago looked a lot different than what it looks like now. We have a lot more requests for, immigration clinic conversations, requests for, just burnout because of the chaos that's happening in the world. So just a lot of different needs, but still align with the goals of wellness and mental health and all of those things.
Gotcha. So what does, since this mental health awareness month, what does mental health mean for you personally and for the business at hand?
I think that for a long time, like most people, there was a very narrow definition of what mental health is. And I think a lot of people attribute mental health to mental illness. So a lot of my work is to sort of demystify that whole notion, that whole definition, to make mental health be accessible for everyone. Like mental health is yours, is mine. We all own our mental health, and we understand that mental illness is something different. And I think that it's very important for us to own that and understand that, mental health is ours, and that we have to pour into ourselves and cultivate good mental health, or we will end up having some sort of mental illness, and not in that specific way, but like having folks be like, okay, what is mental health, and really demystify it. It's like taking walks and reading books and getting air and doing those different things, whereas people are like, well, I don't have mental health. no, you may not have a mental illness, but you do have mental health. And it may be poor on some days, and other days it might be a little bit more healthy, but that's something that we all have is mental health. So for me personally, really understanding that definition. And it wasn't until I started to be like, well, what does my mental health look like as a person, that I was able to like go in spaces and teach this and coach on it, because, you know, it's looking real hypocritical if you talking about drinking your water and minding your business and reading and all of these different things, and you don't do those things. You haven't even tapped in to your own wellness. So now I could with confidence.
As I sip my water.
Right, exactly. So now I could go with confidence, go into spaces and be like, listen, my affirmations, very real thing. My books, very real thing. My plants, very real thing. And how they've, my own wellness has helped me with my own mental health.
No, I like that, and definitely a lot of people just really confuse the two, and we have to educate folks on that. Just
Right.
anybody, it doesn't matter like who you are, is a lot of people still get confused regarding that, and there's and now we're in an administration with a lot of misinformation, so it's we have to even do more work in terms of educating
Yeah.
folks.
Definitely. And you know, a lot of people utilize social media to learn. So I think that we're at in a very complicated time with educating, but also a very a very beautiful time for opportunity. So podcasts like this one, other spaces where people could hear, be informed correctly. Um, I think that is great, but then also just being mindful of these spaces that are giving misinformation or not really, you know, telling the real about what's going on. So, you know, unfortunately, we got to keep up the good fight.
Now I know you touched on like the changes regarding DEI and stuff as that what the Agent Orange administration has put forward. How how are you doing since he's taken office like 100+ days into that feels like 10 years. It's only been 100 days.
I know, and I'm like, it's so I have so many thoughts. Like we said, we don't have that type of time. But I just think that for me, I went to a taping yesterday, and it gave me a much different perspective on it than I've had for the past 100 days. And I know that a lot of rhetoric around this situation, especially for Black people, has been like, not my monkey, not my show. I'm gonna mind my business. Y'all will figure it out or whatever. But we got 4 whole years. So the conversation that those folks had was about feeling more empowered to do something with alignment, right? So not like going out doing something that doesn't feel mission or vision driven, but figuring out what it is that you have to do right now for yourself and for your community and act on it. So not so much this like passive recipient of the BS, right? Like, all right, what's next? What's next? What's next? But being like, okay, with that being said, what am I going to do about it? So it definitely gave me something to think about. Because I definitely was one of them ones for the past 100 days being like, man, I haven't even really watched the news. It just feels so much. It just feels overwhelming. So I don't know. I don't honestly know everything that's going on, which is part of the issue, right? So
Yeah.
I think that was also part of the plan to make things feel so overwhelming and chaotic so we could just stop paying attention and not following up and just being like throw our hands up, right? So what does not throwing our hands up look like, and really figuring out what the next 4 years of our lives are going to look like in the midst of all of this uncertainty and chaos.
Right.
And I'm still not too sure on what that looks like, but I love the conversation that they had yesterday, and being like, this is an opportunity, even with consulting, right? So a lot of these agencies and organizations have committed for the past couple of years to these things, like, right, employee resource groups, diversity, equity, inclusion spaces, wellness groups, like they've committed. So now it's two things. They could either like back out of their commitments and be like, it is what it is, or really figure out how they're going to pivot and still fulfill, those visions that they had, not only for the organization, but for the people who do the work. Because can you imagine, for years you've been told that who you are matters and all of these things matter, and then in a matter of 100 days, you're like, oh no, not so much. That doesn't matter anymore. So businesses with integrity really can't move like that. So what the opportunity there is consulting, because they can't put DEI on their books in that way. But what they can do is consult with you, consult with me, and bring in that work. So it's not like we're providing that work, but we're consulting with people who do that work, and they could pay that way without, having it being tied to their funding and being fearful of people, what is it, Doge going in their books and finding
Right.
a wellness program and shutting down. It's just like a lot of fear and uncertainty, and I get it.
Yeah.
But I appreciated the perspective on the opportunities here, and us being able to be like, okay, we gotta really create our own stuff and figure it out for real.
No, yeah. I mean, a couple of things you mentioned, like, yeah, that there, and rightfully so, like there was at least initially after the election of like, I did my part, like I voted for that, and then she didn't win, so there was a lot of like grief of that, and just the whole thing that went down with Biden resigning the way he did, and the fallout after that, and just her, Vice President Harris not winning. So like, all right, I'm just gonna sit back, relax, and not do anything. I'm gonna rest and like, just like it's not my fight, and like kind of like that infighting kind of within like subgroups kind of started, immediately right after. Then Trump comes in and is doing everything he said he was going to do, everything that's in Project 2025, and that people were warned about, and now that is here, and now like no at the same time, no, these DEI initiatives that companies no longer are participating in, and now we have like, uh, Target, for example, is definitely getting that backlash. So people
Yeah,
not
so
shopping in their
somebody ready
stores.
to slide in Target inbox, being like, I see federally y'all not, doing this, but this is what I can provide. If you really want to have integrity and keep your, keep your employees there, because they're not feeling seen and heard right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's and also going back to like people are starting to try to figure out at least what can we do to kind of combat what's happening, and I know that's what the I know, shout out to Marvin Tolliver. He did the state of emergency, Zoom calls that he's been doing, try to galvanize social workers to try to figure out what can we do, because at the end of the day, like, we being affected, us, the workers who doing the work, who we still trying to recover from pandemic, and then
Right.
and then we're trying to help our clients out who probably are even like worse off from pandemic on top of that. So it's like the domino effect, and we kind of like bombarded in all these different ways, and like you said earlier, purposely done by the current administration. And then
Mhm.
you also got to think about what's happening in your own individual municipalities, counties, cities, like because it starts from the ground level. You got state senator elections, U.S. senator elections, got mayors, governor elections. So there's there's all this trickle down effect, and all that's intertwined as well.
Yeah, I mean, and New York is an interesting place, right? Because New York,
Mhm.
we're like, man, we're holding this liberal game down for the country. Like that's where New York is at, has positioned themselves. So there is a lot of apathy, about what did y'all do, right? That's where we're at. Like, what did y'all do? And now we done found out. Y'all FD'd, and now we done found out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so complicated, and I feel like every day we're just in like a psychological warfare about what we should be doing, or where we should be putting our energy, or what we should be advocating for, and what, like, everything just feels a lot. And I think, like you said, as workers who've been doing this for a while through the pandemic, and now into present day, there is such a huge need, not only from our clients, but as a workforce.
Mm.
People who are doing the work are dealing with some real stuff too. So now it's just like definitely needed for the people who are doing the work to receive supervision, guidance, something, because the work is not easy. And having to work with people who are struggling and sacrificing and fighting, and you are doing the same, is definitely some warfare.
No, absolutely. Man, it's just it's just kind of like overwhelmed, just like talking about everything that's been happening. I know my biggest issue is it was just never addressed, not anywhere locally, not anywhere federally. It was like, all right, people could get COVID. Yes, is not as necessarily as dangerous like it once did, and it's like, all right, we passed it, we moved on. It was like, but there's no follow up of like aftermath of it,
Oh,
like no work.
there isn't. And I had always been curious about somebody that somewhere is working on a longitudinal study right now. They have to be, because just even in 5 years, even if they stop this year, right? Just do it from 2020,
Mm,
2025, just the longitudinal study on everything, the economy, on feelings, on education, on the workforce. Cause I'm just like, we lived it. And we always said during the time we lived through COVID that in 20, 30 years from now, we wonder how they're going to tell the narrative on what we've lived through.
mm,
Because I don't know too many historical significant events that we've lived through to read about present day. Like maybe 9/11, like we can
yeah.
sort of read about that and be like, okay, yeah, that happened the way they said it happened. But like COVID, like 20 years, like, bruh, we lived it. Don't,
Mm,
how are y'all going to tell this story? Like, we got pictures of standing in lines and all of
mm.
these things. Like, this is the real thing that happened to us. So I'm just curious, what type of study is happening right now? How are they going
And
to
who's doing it?
how are they measuring impact, and not
Mm,
just economically, which they know they're like doing that, but like mental health wise, like
mm.
we know that folks are still dealing with the effects of COVID. I work in schools, you understand? So I'm walking into schools where 11th graders are operating like sixth graders.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh yeah, because there was a lot that transpired throughout the last 3-4 years of you going to school, and we know that school is very transformative, and it hasn't been right the way, or it hasn't been the way that we've known it to be. I don't know,
Yeah,
just so
that's
many things
that,
are
that's
different.
my point. Like I was just about to talk about schools and in my year and a half of working as a school social worker, and it's like COVID never happened. It was like we doing the work. Here's a worksheet on the table. There's the expectations to do the worksheet, and you got kids who like spent like 2 years like on an iPad or any electronics, like playing games all day, every day, and you're expecting them to do a worksheet. You see like flipping out, flipping tables and chairs, and it's like, what is this? Like, what are you doing? What are you giving me? And this is like
Yeah.
kindergartners, first graders. So like, there was no such thing as school. Even like preschools or pre-K or any daycares, they weren't open because it was shut down. So like
Mhm.
they didn't have that educational training at that time, and like people lost like two almost 2 full years of formal education as we knew it. And it's like people, I see it with my own kids, and it's like, kind of like, wow, it's like you really need the
It's a
really
wow.
need the help. Yeah, yeah.
Me, I mean, academically is one thing, very important, very much
Mm,
like something that you could put your finger on and name. But and socially,
mm,
there's a huge gap in social wellness and mental health with our young people. So we love doing that work at Reform. We love working with young people. We love challenging them to think about themselves in larger ways than they have, and in wellness ways. I don't know if you've seen this week there was a young group of Black boys who went viral for doing wellness related activities, like going to Pilates and going to get matcha and going to get their nails done. I'm talking about they're from New York, like you could tell.
mm.
And they like it's just was so beautiful to see. I'm gonna send you the post after we get off, but like them tapping into the wellness, but being super authentic, but also being a representation that youngness, youthfulness, and blackness doesn't have to look one way. And like I said, we made the right people viral this week because all of that viral stuff don't be good content. But I said we
Yeah.
made the right people viral this week because they're everywhere, and I just love to see it. So more stuff that allows young people to figure out who they are, because that's what school typically is for, and it wasn't really given that for them the past couple of years. They've been super lost
Mm.
and identity, especially middle school. Oh my God, middle school is like the spot where you find out what you like and who you want to be and how you want to dress and how you want to wear your hair and all of these different things. And I see a lot of that gap when I work with young people. And to your point, I don't know if you saw, but our current administration is closing Head Start programs.
my my point, because I didn't even hear about that. So it's a new day, like literally every day.
This was probably like 2 days ago. You might have missed this one, but like even if we're naming schools as places where young people find themselves, feel
Mm,
safe, all of these different things at the earliest age possible, which is our Head Start programs. Um, I'm a little lost that folks not seeing value in that. And ironically, the article shared that there's currently, I think they said 800,000 students, current young people, kids enrolled in Head Start programs, that now 800,000 students have to find somewhere else to be. But a lot of these closing and closed Head Start programs are in rural environments, right? So I'm not, I don't know. I don't want to generalize, but a lot of rural cities and towns voted for the current administration. So they FA and found out at this point. But which is not
Yeah.
funny at all. But
Right.
it's just like, wow,
Mm.
I don't know what you thought, but now you're maybe thinking like, wow, this is affecting me now. This is
Mm.
not okay.
Yeah, that's why I see now like people like, oh snap, it's affecting me. Like now it's like this is not what I voted for. And it's like, all right, well, what you gonna do about it?
Now we all are dealing with it, right?
And we told you.
Yeah. I mean, you it's a very complicated thing we're living in right now. But my whole motivation, right? Because we got to have some sort of motivation to get up and do this work every day. If we felt like it was all futile, we wouldn't be doing it, right? So
Mm.
it's like, okay, so what is the motivation? And I'm like, all right, I'm just trying to navigate calm, creativity, and some chill during this chaos. So I guess, if I could add anything that figure out how to tap into your triple C's. And I just made that up. I forgot what I said, but it was calm, creativity, and chill.
Okay. We
Yeah.
gotta make sure we we specify what the triple C's make. A triple C's
Chill, and
is something else
chill.
too.
I use chill because for me, we have a chill series,
Okay.
and we do like a plants and chill, which
Mm.
is we go to different nurseries. I'm a plant mom, right? So we go to different nurseries and just tap into plants and flowers. We have a discussion chill, which is our book club. We have a
Mm.
service and chill, which is our community service work. We have a connect and chill, which is our community events. So chill is like a larger term for just do things that make you joyful, right? And then creativity, figuring out like your purpose and your passion right now. I see so many people tapping in, from people learning how to doing crocheting to all types of stuff, painting, just do that, right? And then calm, because it's very chaotic right now.
Mm.
So yeah, what spaces, people, places, and spaces that give you a sense of calm and safety. So those are like just three things that have been helpful for me, especially the chilling. I don't know what type of chilling you do. But yes, definitely.
It's called PS5. Most
Okay, that
times.
works. Yep. I mean, to get a little chaotic on it, the Call of Duty sometimes. I'll be overhearing it. And I'm like, that sounds pretty aggressive.
Oh, no, I usually play sports video games, so like
Okay.
I got Major League Baseball on, and I'm about to get the new college football when it drops this summer. So
Okay. I mean, I used to be a Madden girl. I know that was not
play.
on PS, but yeah. And then we had, like even going out. I know last night the Knicks won, right? That was good news. The whole city was in an uproar last night. It was beautiful to see. Let's see how the second round goes. But one step at a time.
Exactly, one step at a time. Now, now, now you mentioned all the the plant and chill events and things like that. Like, how, which I want to like relate it to the business. How does that get funding? What the
Um,
events look like? I know we tapped in, like mentioned a little bit about it the first time around you came on, but it kind of like what does that look like in terms of ways your events get funded, and like the business model? What does that look like in 2025 for folks that trying to, because we need do other things instead of getting licensed after getting your MSW degree.
That part. That part. So we are traditionally a B2B business. So that means business to business for folks who do not know, versus a B2C business, which is a business to consumer. So our B2B work, we have been able to collaborate and contract with organizations and companies who, again, value this work, understand about, what this means in terms of the bottom line, right? Making sure their staff is happy so that they can get the job done. So the And Chill series, we've been able to introduce certain companies are looking to start a book club, right? So being able to consult with them about how to do book clubs, how to roll that out. And something like the Service and Chill, we stumbled upon that. We had an opportunity to be funded one time by a spirits brand, right? Which is not related, but I love them for that. And we did a senior fun day, which was we went to an older adult center and just was like, can we do our thing with your seniors, give them some vibes and just, hang out with them. So we did that twice. And then we realized, like, you know what? This is actually dope. Like the seniors love it. And I don't know if where y'all live at, but in New York, there's older adult centers everywhere. I'm like, I want to go to one. They be popping. I don't know if you've ever been in one, but I can't wait till I turn 65 because they have a good time.
I worked in one, so I know.
you know. So right now we're working on trying to get that funded, and what that looks like is proposing to council members, other city agencies, and the older adult center themselves, just to see how they want to fund that. And a lot of our B2B work is where we get our profit from. And we found that a lot of the things that we like to do, just inherently based off of our own wellness practices, like reading plants and things like that, we wanted to amplify to our community. So those would be more along the lines of B2C opportunities, which we are not in, we haven't charged for any of those events. So right now we're utilizing our B2B clients and contract work to fund our passion projects, but we have created proposals for our Plants and Chill, which again is just an opportunity for people who like plants or are curious about plants to go to different nurseries. So we've applied for the Awesome Foundation and just different small grants so that we can, have some funding around it. It's gonna continue to happen without the funding because again, it's just passion. And book club, again, more along the lines of passion, different events, our passion projects. However, there is opportunities for funding with proposals and grants like that. It's just a matter of figuring out who's buying what you selling, because folks are familiar with the RFP process. It's a little different. They tell you what they're buying, and you just have to figure out how to fit within that. Versus a proposal going out into the world being like, you don't know you need this because you don't know about it. And those are just the two spaces we're in right now. But yes, always looking to talk more about what this looks like in a corporate level, on a community level, because there is opportunities for some of that stuff there too.
That's a interesting way to kind of navigate the spaces and try to, at the end of the day, as a business, you try to make money. So it's all the different ways that putting your passions into doing the work and then I was make some money and
Yeah, I mean,
and now and nowadays nowadays is really hard with everything. Everybody struggling but organizations definitely got money. So you just try to figure out how to navigate and tap in those spaces.
Yeah, I mean, and ideally, in doing really genuine, authentic work, creating authentic vibes, right? You know, someone may show up to your free event or space that you've created authentically and being like, yo, I really like this girl. I really like Bass. Let me find out what else they do. And then that's where the B2B work comes in, because you don't know where they work. They may work at an organization who is looking specifically to bring somebody in to do something. So I think a lot of times, as business owners, ROI is very real.
Mm-hmm.
With limited time and limited funding, there's only so much you could do. And also only so much you could do without thinking, well, what am I getting in return for this? And I'm happy that for as long as Reform has been in existence, and even before that, it's been nothing but genuine vibes. And anything that we've sold, or anything that we've reaped, we've sold. So, it's all about relationships, creating value, showing value, and also being reciprocal, because a lot of times people will want to take or want to, tap into what you have without, providing value themselves. So everything has been sold with Reform from the beginning.
Yeah, that's dope. What you guys got going on during this month?
Oh man, so May, shout out to Mental Health Awareness Month. Shout out to our anniversary month. We typically take a trip in May to celebrate our anniversary, but we're gonna hold off until our 8th anniversary, just to keep it like a little 8 dimensions of wellness, 8 years, and just do something bigger, more, something with a lot more funding, and like just the whole thing. So we're gonna keep it really cute and light this month, but May, we have a couple big things this month. One thing is the mental health conversation at Pitch. It's in Brooklyn, and it's gonna be mental health in the Caribbean. And really, it's May. There's a lot of companies creating space to have mental health conversations, which is amazing, right? I think it's so dope. Create more space. So we wanted to be more curated and speak specifically to folks with Caribbean heritage. So we're going to be housed at a Caribbean restaurant, eating Caribbean food, Caribbean music. We're really talking about the intersection of mental health and Caribbean culture. And if you're Caribbean, you know that intersection is very real.
Yes.
Or, come from those type of backgrounds. So we're gonna talk a lot about that. So that is on Thursday, May 15th in Brooklyn, from 6 to 9. Also on Mother's Day, which is, before that, I'm gonna back up a little bit. Mother's Day, we're gonna have a mom memoriam walk. So this is something that I started last year, just speaking to my own lived experience with maternal grief. So the Mom Memorial Walk is on Mother's Day, and it's purpose for people who's lost their mother, their grandmother, their auntie, their mommy figure. And we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate Mother's Day in their honor. We're gonna, share stories and just vibe and have a great day, which would otherwise feel very lonely, very, very daunting. And you just need to come out, give yourself permission to come out and be in community with people who have shared experience. What else we got? Game night, Mondays, game night, looking for any small business owners who want to come and vend. I offer free tabling and vending for any small business owner. We know that those pop-up shops to get a little pricey.
Yes, it
Um,
does.
they get a little pricey and they, you never know if you won't get your ROI, right? So
That is true.
here I'm
That's
offering free tabling vending for not only products, but brands, and people are brands too. I always like to remind people that, you don't have to sell body butter or candles. You can come and represent and share your own value. And yeah, I'll just share those three because I'm like, it's a lot going on, but
yeah.
definitely stay connected to myself. I am the curator and the person behind the Instagram page, so it is a real person. And if you have any like questions or thoughts or any opportunities for collaboration, which we are super, super big on, that's how we got to this point. Social capital is very real.
Mhm.
And we just love the work that we do and love to be connected to anyone who is aligned.
No, I love that. Where can people find you guys? They want to collab or just support?
Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram at Reform Consulting. You can find us on LinkedIn at Reform Consulting, Facebook at Reform Consulting. Oh yeah, I forgot to add. So we added an extension to our brand called Curated by Reform, which is going to be more of that B2C stuff. But I have been, like we said, that creative part, my triple C's. I've been playing around with digital products. So I like it. I've never considered myself to be like a digital person, creative person in that way.
Mm.
But I've been doing a lot of different things. So right now I would like to elevate that I've created a curated conversation card collection, which is a deck of cards. They're each card collection comes with 100. So there are 100 opportunities for folks to connect at your event. So right now we have a baby shower one. We have a
Mm.
family gathering one. We have a high school reunion one, and we have just a general connect and chill one. And it's really inspired by not only my own personal energy of being in rooms, always wanting to connect and talk and collaborate with people, but also going into these same rooms and seeing people on their phones and not talking to each other, and not only not talking to each other, but not necessarily knowing how to start a conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is also some of that COVID trickle down stuff,
Yeah.
but engagement and conversation is suffering right now. And I work with a lot of people who do events in specific ways, like catering, balloon arches, and all of these things. And they are like, the events are very bad. Like,
Mm.
it's not enough lamb chops and throne chairs to make your event nice or valuable if people sat around for 3 hours on their phones and didn't really connect or make meaning at your event. So I really want to elevate that. I'll share it with you, but yeah, so those are the 4 spaces that they could be utilized in. I'm taking pre-orders right now. And we got 4 more coming. We got a wedding one coming, we got a birthday party coming, date night, and a teen one. So I'm gonna keep pushing them out. Every time I feel inspired by something, not the family reunion, the high school reunion one. I had my high school reunion last year, 20 years. Oh my God. 20 years. And when I tell you, we sat around each other like, so and I was like, wouldn't it be nice if we just had like something so that we could talk and it just doesn't feel awkward and like, so yeah, that was the first deck I created. It was inspired by my own high school reunion. And I'm like, the next high school reunion that somebody has, they might need a little help with the vibes. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, definitely stay connected. Javania Smith. I'm on LinkedIn as well. But yeah, at Reform Consulting on Instagram.
Cool. Yeah, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And definitely tap in soon.
Let's do it. I love it.